Hi, this is Brad with Copper Creek Cuts, a lawn care company in Northeast Florida. In today's video, you may be wondering, Brad, why are you standing in front of two trailers? They look a little bit tinier than what you normally use. And you're right. These are Carry-On's next-gen trailers, and I'm very happy to announce that I'm going to be working with them over the coming weeks to not only give you some trailer-related content, trailering 101, best safety practices, how to load, how to hook up, all that stuff. So if you're new to trailers, that'll be worth checking out. But also, we'll be running a 6-week giveaway where you can win one of these trailers. That's right, the 5x8 with wood plank floor or the 5x8 with steel mesh floor. You are going to be able to win one of these trailers, and we'll even ship it to you. And when I say we, I mean Carry-On, because I'm just some bum in Florida who's not going to get it to you. So if you've never heard of Carry-On before, they are a very large trailer company. I know around me, I find them in Lowe's, I've got them in Tractor Supply. You may have seen them in other places. Certainly lots of local dealers are going to have them. But one of the things that I like about them, or the idea of purchasing something from them, is that they are so big that it's very easy to get maintenance and replacement parts if you're the kind of person who buys a trailer and keeps it until it falls apart. The other thing is with their next gen, they've come out with a lot of new, the birds are excited about it too. They've come out with a lot of new features that you don't normally see on trailers at this price point. One of the ones that should be obvious from the look of it is powder coating. So these things have a beautiful finish on them, and that's because they are powder coated rather than simply spray painted. That's going to be something, when you look at old trailers, what's the first thing you notice? Rust, right? You're going to extend the time that you have to even worry about that because these are much more durable powder coated rather than just spray painted on like some other trailers. That's one big benefit of next gen. The other is that while there is angle iron on top, the actual frame itself is going to be 2-inch square tubing. That's going to give you a lot more strength, rigidity. You're not going to have flex as you're driving down the road because of the fact that this structural member is all 2-inch square tubing. The other thing that's a byproduct of that is the fact that it is square tubing rather than angle iron now means that your wiring is enclosed. It's not exposed to the elements, it's not hanging around, which is another big deal on less expensive trailers or starter trailers, whatever you want to call them. Because exposed wiring is something that you see very, very commonly. The other thing that's a nice feature that you don't really appreciate until you have are some extra tie-down points. Now with angle iron, it's a little bit easier to tie down somewhere, especially with like a ratchet strap, because there's always going to be a lip for you to hook onto. But having a much lower anchor point can give you better security and actually give you a better tie down, especially if you're transporting something that's actually lower than the lip of the trailer. Having this tie down is going to let you actually secure it, whereas this, you wouldn't be able to get the ratchet strap tight on it. And the other interesting thing that you've probably seen is, what in the world is going on with this ramp gate? Did Brad break this thing already? No, this is another feature of Next Gen that allows you to actually fold this down or fold it into the ramp position that you're more used to. Now, why would you ever want to do something like this? Well, for one, you can put some extra planking, maybe a couple of 2x4s or whatever gets this level, and you can actually load a pallet on here. Now, if it didn't fold in, you might not be able to do that because you don't want a very heavy piece of machinery driving up your small trailer ramp that could be attached to your small car, right? That's not great for the transmission of your vehicle. But by doing this, you can actually have something come in and load a pallet right on top of this gate, which is a very handy feature. And around the front end, we've got our 2-inch coupler ball. We've got our wiring, which again just feeds in through this square tubing, so it's going to be a little bit contained. You've got your carry handle here for when you're lifting up and moving around. If you want to add on a tongue jack, you absolutely can. We've also got safety chains that are included on a trailer this small is a nice addition that you don't have to worry about. Now, one thing you may see with this, you may be used to seeing A-frames and say, oh, this is not good. I can't use this because this is cheap or inferior. The fact of the matter is this is perfectly adequate for what this trailer is rated to hold. Once you step up to larger trailers like a 5x10, you're gonna see that A-frame you might be more used to. They've even got some 5x8s that are built for heavier duty applications that do have the A-frame as well. So don't see this and be turned off by it just because it's not the A-frame that you're used to. You just simply don't need an A-frame with the level of capacity that you're going to be towing with this kind of trailer. I hope you appreciate what I had to go through to get this shot. So you can see we've got Dexter axles. These ones have a 2,200 pound capacity. Here we have our leaf springs and U-bolts. And the camera angle isn't great, but you can see under here we've got powder coating as well. The whole thing's powder coated. And that's our second trailer there. Don't get confused. On this particular model, we've got 13-inch wheels. They do make some with 12-inch, and again, some people might just say, oh, smaller is worse. I don't want that, I don't like that. But again, these things are going to be sized, even a 12-inch is going to be sized appropriately for the towing capabilities of this trailer. So you don't have to worry that it's going to be unsafe because it's smaller. If anything, a 12-inch is actually a little bit safer in the fact that when you look at loading or unloading something, that 1-inch smaller tire is actually going to put the deck a little bit lower, and that small change makes a big difference in the angle of the loading ramp. So if you're using this mainly for like a lawn tractor that you're gonna buy at Lowe's or Tractor Supply or somewhere like that, having a 12-inch will still carry that weight fine, what you need to carry, but it'll also make loading and unloading a little bit safer because your approach angle is going to be less steep, which especially when things are wet and you can kind of get a little bit nervous about loading or unloading, having that extra confidence can be a big deal. So there you have it, a very quick overview of Carry-On, of Next Gen. If you've looked at their products before and were not impressed, you really should go look again, because these Next Gen trailers, they improve on a lot of things that you might have had issues with before. I know the paint has been one of the biggest issues for folks who buy trailers. The fact that, you know, you buy it and a year later it looks like a rust bucket. So I think a lot of people are going to be happy that they are now powder coating these Next Gen line of trailers rather than just a traditional paint that's not going to hold up very well. So now the part that probably everyone's waiting for: how do I win one of these bad boys? How do I get my grubby mitts on them? Well, unfortunately, I know people on YouTube hate to read, but all the information, the rules, how to enter is in the description. It's not something I'm gonna vocalize, because if I leave something out, I don't want any liability for myself, so sorry. But if you wanna win one of these, we've got a 6-week window that's gonna start today, and all the rules, all the information are down below in the description. Also worth noting that this is the first video in a series that we'll be doing, so here is the link to the playlist. Here is the next video if it's been released yet. If it hasn't, it's just some random video then. But please consider subscribing to follow along with these releases. We are doing them real time, so you can keep up with those. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.